It is my pleasure to welcome you back to another episode of Core Counsel, the show where we explore all things masculinity through 15 portals of conversation. I am your host, professional rugby player for Toulon in England, Carl Sinclair. My co-host is Oliver James. Ollie has worked as a mentor with professional men within the worlds of sport, entertainment, and business for the past decade. With that being said, let's get this show started. As mentioned, there are 15 portals of conversation, which are all related to masculinity, which you can see on your screens right now. From here, Ollie will choose a portal, I'll initiate a question, we will then have a conversation for around 10 to 15 minutes on an answer which directly relates to men. Look, we all know you got things to do, so we're going to get straight to the point. But before we start, I just want to say a massive thank you to our friends and partners at Vivo Barefoot for sponsoring the show. Their commitment to natural movement and foot health aligns perfectly with everything that we stand for here at Core Counsel. So make sure you check out vivobarefoot.com to get yourself reconnected. Thank you so much, guys. Ollie, what's the pool for today's show, bro?
All right. Jump in, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to go for... kind of like the look of that. Number 13, Real World. Looks like he's taking some damage.
You always make me laugh when you're looking at the portals and stuff.
Yeah, I love these illustrations. I love them, so I just have a little look, you know. So yeah, let's go with that. Number 13, Real World.
Okay, cool. Let's do this. Ollie, I am sure I speak for everyone tuning into the show today when we say paying taxes, paying council tax, filing tax returns, doing all of that mundane stuff is a ball ache. So for you, how do you manage to keep on top of all this, mundane stuff?
I take it you don't like paying taxes. There's a lot of tax stuff you reeled off there. I'm guessing you mean like paying bills.
Yeah, paying bills, taxes, just everyday problems.
Yeah, the mundane things we have to do, filling out forms, these kind of things. Yeah. Okay, so this is why this is called Real World. This is real world stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If I go to a story, a little bit of storytelling maybe. There's a story on the Saviour World website, actually. SaviourWorld.com, if anyone wants to have a look. It's called See It Through. I'll paraphrase it a little bit. There's a father he's just bought a new house. Okay, so I'm going to set the scene. He's standing down by a river. This is his new home, has a river. He's with his wife, he's with his son, and he's a very proud man. He's managed to afford this house after years of hard work. It has this beautiful river at the bottom of the garden. And there's a wall running along the river that needs to be built correctly. It needs to be high enough in order to stop the river from flooding his beautiful garden of this beautiful new home he's built. Yeah. Unfortunately, when he's bought the house, part of the work is he's got to rebuild the wall. There's a section of the wall that's crumbled away and he's rebuilding. If he doesn't, then if the river floods, as I say, it will ruin his beautiful garden of this beautiful home that he's worked all of his life to afford. Yeah. So the winter's coming, the rainy season's coming. He needs to get this done. Who's he going to involve? Well, this is a man's show where we understand the roles of the father, the son, these kind of things. He's going to involve his son, right? He's going to invite his son to help him build this wall ready for the rainy season. So they get to work on the wall. The son's picking out the rocks. The father's cementing them into position. But the father starts to feel guilty because the son's just moved to a new area, a new location. He's at school, new school, and his mother tells him, the father's wife tells him, the son's mother, that he's falling asleep in class. He's not able to get involved in, wrestling at high school, rugby, all the sports and things that they play. He's not, chasing girls.
He's not able to live a life as a kid.
Yeah, he's not chasing girls like a young man should be, these kind of things. So the father starts to feel guilty and he says, don't worry, son. You don't have to build the wall with me anymore. You just help me on weekends only. The son obviously wants to help his father, but the father's adamant, no. And the father's tired. He's worked his whole life to get this house, to afford this. to get his wife and his son in a position whereby they're comfortable with a beautiful garden, beautiful house, beautiful river. And he says to his son, you know what, actually, I'm tired as well. Let's just take a break. The weather forecast is looking good. There's no rains coming. Let's just take a moment. And we don't need to get it done right now. I'm tired too. So he waits a little while. And then what happens? What do you think happens?
It comes through, the rain comes through, there's a massive storm or something in the house, or the house takes extreme damage.
All of a sudden, without warning, the rains come, the river starts to rise, the garden starts to flood, and the father, his wife, and his son watch as the beautiful garden is destroyed and the water starts to inch closer to the beautiful home. And he's devastated. Do you know why he's devastated? It's not about the loss, it's not about the physical damage. He's devastated because there was a lesson he was supposed to teach his son. And that lesson is, no matter how tired you are, no matter how broken you might be, if there is something that needs to be done, always see it through. If there is a pipe that needs fixing in your house, if there is a crack in your windshield that needs taking to the mechanic to get it fixed before it becomes a bigger crack, if there is a bill that needs to be paid, if there is taxes that need to be done, no matter how much we don't like it, and clearly you don't like that. No matter what it is, and I know it seems really mundane, but this is something that's really important to teach. Men, young men, of course, our young men of society, the younger men, the younger generation. We must teach the young men, the boys of the younger generation, that when there is something that needs to be done, always see it through. Say the story on SaviourWorld.com is called See It Through. I paraphrased it there, but I think it's a really important message. And when you have things like this, if you don't take care of them, how long until that tax bill that you didn't pay becomes a raging river right at your door? Yeah. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. And we've seen high profile people just with little things like not paying tax bills or not taking care of mundane things, like I mentioned at the start of the episode, can have devastating consequences, Ollie. You know, that can lead to the destruction of a family, even jail time in some instances. Ollie, from your perspective, do you feel like you're so on top of these mundane things because once you get them done, it gives you the space to then do what you love, which is obviously helping others and creation?
Yeah, now, yes. But of course, this was not something that I was taught either. And the mundane things in my life that I would always put on the back burner, like most people do, would always catch up with me eventually. Now, everything in my life is incredibly organized because exactly what you've said there, actually. In having everything organized, all of the mundane 3D things, if we call them like 3D things, you know, it's like the material world, things that the system, society requires of us in order to function. There's no point in getting upset about it. There's no point in getting upset about the fact that you're tired and you've moved into a new home and, you know, you think the work's done already, but it's not. You've now got to fix up that new home. No matter how broken you might be, exhausted, you know, what do they call it in our world? You're hustling, you're grinding, you're trying to make it in the world. If there are things that need to be done, you have to see them through. Otherwise, they will become a raging river at your doorstep that, you know, then you will be forced to deal with something that might involve, as you said, I mean, even potentially jail time. If you think of, there's lots of professional athletes that have made a lot of money and not been advised correctly, maybe when it comes to taxes, bills, these kind of things, and it's caught up on them in the long run and then they become bankrupt. So as just an example, So I would say to anyone who's interested in this, to anyone that it resonates with, put this stuff first in terms of the real world stuff. You know, that in that illustration, I like that illustration because you've got all those arrows raining down on him and he's got his shield. Yeah, that's kind of your shield against the 3D world, your shield against the material world, against your taxes and all these kind of things, your bills. Your shield against it is to have it done before they can get to you. Get it done. See it through before the river's at your door. And that's kind of what that story, which I've just paraphrased today, is about. And yeah, the more organized you are, the more space you then have to focus on building and creating your life in the image of something greater than just modern systematic society, the way that wants to program you, it doesn't want you to break free and create a reality like that. So get that stuff sorted first so that they can't touch you.
Next part of the conversation, Ollie, would you say the modern day man, it's about not doing what excites you, but kind of doing what's necessary? Because as you mentioned there, the role of the man, obviously in the family and taking care of, his wife and his children, he, potentially isn't going to be able to do things that are excite him, but he's got to do the things that are necessary because, like you mentioned in your story of See It Through, the damage was already done because he took that time off.
Yeah, the exciting stuff becomes available when you take care of the basic things first. They're the foundation of the house, in a sense. The bills being paid, and if you have to have, an extra job. I mean, these are things that say I didn't get it right in my life initially. I've had to build a life whereby, to do that, I've had part-time jobs that, let's just say, they weren't they weren't jobs that I saw for myself as a young man, but they were jobs that I had to enter into in order to build a foundation of my house, aka my life, that enabled me to, you build the structure, you have everything in order, you get everything organized. And then, if anything breaks or cracks, you get it fixed straight away so that from there you can start putting the rest of the house together in the way that you see the rest of your life, creating that. And then once you build that whole house, inside the house, you get to, choose how you want it designed, how you want it decorated, what furniture you're going to allow into your home. If you see what I mean, that's a metaphor for life. You don't get to put your finishing touches on it until you take care of the foundations. And that's the basic 3D real world stuff. Get it in order, get it organized, get it, use your laptop, have your files, everything. Don't have a laptop with everything all over the screen and the desktop, these kind of things.
Organization.
I can't tell people what to do. I can only suggest, but this is what I would suggest. And in doing so, you will give yourself the ability to start choosing and materializing a life that is bigger than just the real world stuff. It gives you the space, it allows the space for that. And, if something then does break, the pipe, needs fixing, the window's cracked, whatever it is, you'll have the capacity to deal with that because everything's organized in an order.
Yeah, I feel, Ollie, like once you kind of get on top of it, you have the momentum, you have the awareness of what you need to do. It's when I can speak from my personal experience as a young man, many years before we started working together, and I would never pay attention to that sort of stuff. And then, I don't know, a month or two goes by and then I suddenly check my emails and I have so many things to do. Whereas if you stay on top of it, and then when something does come up, it's like you're so in the flow and you're in the rhythm of getting it done. It doesn't seem as such a burden, you know?
You can focus on the bigger things. That the smaller real world stuff is correct. I think that's a good word for it. Get everything correct in order. And from there, you can build a reality that is the version of it that your imagination will allow. And that is limitless, unlimited, infinite.
Ollie, thank you as always for your insight, your knowledge, your humor. It definitely resonated with me, as I'm hoping it has with anyone else who's tuned into our show today. Guys, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and do not forget to hit that like button. Also, please follow us on all our social media platforms. If you like what you heard from Ollie and want to learn more, visit SaviourWorld.com and follow Saviour World on Instagram. Once again, thanks for making us part of your day. We will catch you all next episode. Take care.